Good morning everyone, what is up? It's your girl Jordan Denzer back with a new vlog for you. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day today and a great Sunday as I am. But if you are new to my channel, I am the one and only Jordan Denzer. Hope you guys are smiling every day. Hope you're all having a wonderful day first off. And don't listen to people who are going to try and bring you down because you're awesome and amazing just the way you are. But if you are subscribed and are returning, welcome back. So today is Sunday, August 19, 2018, also known as my dad's birthday. Yay! Sorry, I get really excited about one of my family members' birthday when it's like finally here. So for those who don't know, a year ago today was my dad's birthday, but also if you didn't remember last year, my dad went skydiving for his birthday for the first time, and it was so much fun. He really enjoyed it. And he enjoyed it so much that he did again a second time back in May a few months ago, if you don't remember. And yeah, it was just so awesome. Like, I just can't believe how fast like a year goes by. But I always love birthdays, especially when it's like a family member or a friend's birthday and it just like finally gets here. And so I'm really excited about today. Like, we're just about to head out to church in a few minutes and I'm really excited. So when we get to church, my dad is actually going to be doing a message back in children's church, and I'm really excited to see it. And I think you guys are going to absolutely love it, and you guys are going to kind of get to see what he's like preaching and giving a message to the kids in children's church, which I'm really excited about. And I think you guys are going to absolutely love the message. And so I can't wait for you guys to get to come along and spend this day with me and my family celebrating my dad's birthday and get to see what we're going to get to do. So, but again, I'm Jordan Denzer and welcome to my vlog. So let's get right into it. Hey guys, Jordan here. So I just got done doing bulletins, so we've been up here for about an hour now and service just started. So I just got done and I'm about to head back to children's church to be able to make it in time to hear my dad do the message and be a part of it, which if you guys didn't know, I'm actually going to be a part of the message, which I'm so excited for you guys to hear. And so far, church going good. Like I said, I'm just about to head back and I just wanted to catch you guys up on what's been going on. I got my reading done. I read in the book of John, chapters 3 and 4, where it talked about John the Baptist and like how his story before Jesus came and got baptized. And so, yeah, it's like I try to get my reading in more often, and I'm actually really glad. And so, yeah. So right now I'm about to head back into children's church to get ready to hear my dad preach and also be a part of the message, and I can't wait for you guys to see that. So I will see you guys in the children's church service.
God used David, who was just an average kid, to rescue his people. And that's the story of David and Goliath. So, in case you missed it, here's the quick version. David was a shepherd. He brought his brother's lunch. He saw Goliath. Goliath scared everybody. David wasn't scared. He knew God was stronger. David fought Goliath. He used one stone. God helped him kill Goliath. The Israelites won. God's people were saved. And that's a part of God's story.
You're raised with the dinosaurs. Mr. Gary's old today. Mr. Gary, let's look at your cane.
I am 48 years old.
Mr. Gary.
Holy cow.
It's like you. It's all full of stuff. So you get your piece. Well, first we're going to sing happy birthday to you, and then we'll get your piece.
to get up and it's your birthday and then going and you got to meet a new teacher. You got to meet a bunch of new people. It was awful. But I would much rather be back then than 48 now. Oh, I'm old as dirt. So, okay, so we've been talking about giants, right? All right, David and Goliath. All right, we've been talking about giants. But did you know that there will be giants that are going to come in our life, that giants didn't just happen in the Bible, but giants are nowadays, okay? All right, and we're going to look in 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 45. All right, there is, how many of you know David went out and he went down, and the reason he was going down was to take food to his brothers, right? His dad sent him down to take food. He was like the first delivery pizza guy. I'm sure he took some flatbread pizzas and all kinds of stuff with honey and all this good stuff that they like, homemade ice cream, I don't know. I mean, just all kinds of good stuff down there. And so all of a sudden David is out there and he's hearing this Goliath yell and scream. And he's out there and he's asking these guys, so what happens to whoever kills this Goliath, and why aren't y'all doing anything? The boys begin to tell him that, hey, if you kill the Goliath, you're going to get this, you're going to get the king's daughter, you're going to get all kinds of good stuff. And so David's like, well, I'll go down and do it. And so David, the verse that we've got here says, looks at David, goes down. First of all, he goes to Saul, and Saul tries to put a bunch of armor on him that doesn't fit. It would be like if we had Parker come up here and put on my clothes. Do you think they're going to fit?
No.
Parker, come here for just a second. Look at Parker. Look. Okay. Me and Parker we got about the same size shoe, don't we? Yeah, it's about the same size. Do you think Parker could walk very good in my shoes?
No.
I mean, I'm sure he could, but it would be a lot of trouble, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right, thank you, Parker. Give Parker a hand. He's a good man. So Saul puts all this stuff on him, and David is kind of walking around trying to fight, and he's like, look, I can't do this. I'm going to go down and I'm going to do it on my own. And David had already killed a lion and a bear with a slingshot. And not like a slingshot like we talked about last week, about how it's one of those where you pull it back and you throw it. It was 2 pieces of leather with the leather piece at the bottom, and it had a rock in it, and he would fling it like this and throw it. And you had to be pretty good at that. So David went down, and as he's going across to meet Goliath, he picks up 5 smooth stones. And history tells us, and scholars tell us, that the reason he picked up 5 is because Goliath had 4 brothers. So he was going to make sure. Miss Amy's got a mic. Yeah! And who says I'm the old one? Miss Amy got her mic on. So Goliath picked up 5 stones because he knew if he's going to defeat Goliath, his other brothers might show up, and he was going to take care of them too. So he gets down there in the valley, and Goliath looks at him, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And so David looks at him and says, you come to me with Goliath had these guys walk out there carrying his spear and his sword and his shield, and he come out there, and David said, you come against me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord God Almighty, the God of the armies, whom you have defied. Okay? So, see, the thing about it is the thing that we got to look at, when giants come in our life, these giants are going to be loud and insulting. Okay? In verse 45, David is there, and Goliath in verse 43, I want to read it to you. He said to David, am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. So David come out, and he's out there, he's a little bitty kid. And Goliath looks at him and he says, am I a dog? I mean, I'm a trained soldier. He comes out there and he's like, look, who are you? You're a little bitty kid. You're going to come out here and fight me? Am I not good enough that you're going to send a kid out here? And see, sometimes our giants in our lives are going to be coming at us, and too young. You can't do that. You can't tell your friends about Jesus. You're too young. You don't know how to say a lot of big words like epiphany or, dollar bill or, big words, big college words like sophisticated or sophistication. You can't use big words, and your giants in your life are going to tell you that's just stupid. Don't think about it. They're going to insult you and tell you that you're not big enough. But the thing that we have to remember is we don't do things because of who we are. It's because of who's in us. Okay? So the giants are going to insult us, and the giants are going to come in many forms in our lives. See, the giant, we don't face a lot of giants that are this tall, right? No, not really. We fight giants that come in two forms. Bring me that first one. I'm going to tell you two stories, okay? One, does anybody know what it means to have a stroke? Okay, the word stroke is when you have a problem, something happens in your brain, and one side of your body goes numb, like you can't use it. And one side of your face will go down, you can't smile, and you can't really talk, you can't really walk. And a lot of times it will affect what they call your motor functions, which means your ability to pick up things, your ability to swallow, your ability to communicate with people. You may be thinking it in your mind, but you can't get it out your mouth. Well, I have a friend, guy that I know, several years ago, almost 15 years ago, he had a stroke. He was a youth pastor, and he had a stroke one Saturday night, and he was at home. He was at his mom and dad's house, and all of a sudden, the stroke hit him, and they took him to the hospital, and he couldn't talk, he couldn't communicate, couldn't walk. And he tried to tell, and really the only way, his left side went numb on him, he couldn't talk, they'd teach him how to swallow again, and all of a sudden he was there, and this giant in the form of a stroke was coming and telling him that you're going to be in a wheelchair from here on out. You're going to have to walk with a walker. And this giant is just in his face, telling him that you're nothing, you are not going to be able to do anything else. And then, all of a sudden, where he was youth pastor, and the pastor that he was with came down, and when he walked in, it is, when you have, how many of you, when you have a need or you have something, you love it when Miss Angie prays for you, right? Or the pastor, if you're an adult, and when the man of God or the woman of God walks in to your situation, and they begin to pray, it's like something fills the room, and you begin to sense that all of a sudden, this is not as big of a giant as we thought it was. Well, as this youth pastor prayed, he prayed that God would reverse the effects of the stroke. He walked in to the room and he said, God, we want you to reverse the effects of the stroke, which means literally everything that's been done, just turn it back to normal. And so in 3 days later, this youth pastor who had a stroke, he was verified medically. The doctors and everybody, they were always wondering. And then he walked out of the hospital, no more problems, no complications on his brain, nothing whatsoever was wrong with him. He walked out on a walker 3 days later. And he was not supposed to do this. And so God did an instantaneous defeat of the giant in this guy's life.
Amen.
So, now, see, God does like with David. David instantly destroyed this giant because of God. One fling of the rock, and it happened, knocked him down. And this was an instantaneous thing that God happened. But sometimes you have to defeat that giant on a daily basis. Peyton, bring me that other thing. See, giants are going to come in many forms. How many of you know what autism is? Or have you ever heard the word autism? Autism is a learning disability that you're pretty much stuck with the rest of your life. You process things differently. Most people who with autism are extremely smart, but they cannot get what's here out here. And sometimes they have sensory issues and texture things, and they just have to do things in a certain order. Well, this same youth pastor, when he had 3 children, and one day they went to the doctor and they found out that all 3 of them were diagnosed with developmental delays, which means that the doctor said they're not going to learn the way everybody else learns. They're not going to once they get past the 5th grade, they're not going to get past the 5th grade in school. They're not going to be able to communicate or won't be able to do things in public. You'll have to modify things. And so they were sitting there, and about his daughter was 2 years old when she got diagnosed with autism. And they were sitting in the parking lot. Of course, they were crying because just like any parent, when they find out something's wrong with y'all, your parents start to cry because you're their most important, valuable possession that you have. God has given you them. You are a blessing. And so they began to say that he looked at his wife and said, we're not going to accept this diagnosis. We're going to believe God's going to direct us. And so as the daughter grew up, from the time she was 2, they would pray and they began to seek God, and God would direct them to doctors and speech pathologists and occupational therapists, people who specialized in autism. And the doctor who gave the diagnosis to the youth pastor told him and his wife that she would not ever graduate from public school. She would never graduate from public school, and they told us about their son, that he would never have an imagination, never be very creative, and then they would tell them about the daughter that she would never do anything in public. She would not be able to communicate, and it was just going to be a useless cause. Well, every day they prayed, and God began to show them people to go to. And so the giant would get chopped down every day. They would have to deal with this giant every single day. And the giant was looking at him, and see, giants like to defy God. You know what the word defy means? It means that you refuse to do what you're told. I'm sure most of you know what defy means. You've probably shown how to defy your parents. Will you please go clean your room up? Yes, I'll give you just a minute. No, do I have to go clean the room right now? No, Mom, I'm not going to do that. You have just defied your parents. And usually what happens when you defy your parents? There's consequences, right? Okay? Same way when this giant defied God, there were consequences that he didn't really think were going to come because he was defying God. Well, the great thing, the awesome news is this girl has not only graduated from high school, but she also God has used her in such a powerful way to minister to other people. And the man who suffered the stroke, God has done some wonderful things in his life. And simply her being alive and doing things has defied the giant. And sometimes you have to look at those giants in your life, and you have to look at David. Mr. Jeff, will you put that verse back up there? You have to look at the giant, and you have to look at him, and David went out there, and he just didn't go out there and look. this is what's going to happen. David, he didn't come out there and go, okay, look, dude, you come against me with a sword and spear and a javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, God of army of Israel, whom you have defied. And then he didn't go, let me take a selfie for this moment. And he's like, oh, I gotta get on Instagram and prove that you're gonna fall. No, David went out there because David was mad. David was upset. He was angry at this guy who had the audacity to say that he's defying the living God. And he's upset. And so David comes out there and he looks at him and basically he tells him, he yells at him, prepare to die! And he screams at him. He says, today, you come against me with a sword and a spear and a javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies, whom you have defied. Today, God, I'm going to give the bodies of your friends to the birds, and I'm going to cut your head off, and I'm going to show that there is a God in Israel. This morning, I am the youth pastor that had the stroke. And God did a miracle in my life. And I walked out of that hospital 3 days later after I went in. I was supposed to leave in a wheelchair, not be able to communicate, not be able to do anything else. And I've not had any problems since that day from that stroke. The other person is Jordan. Come here, Jordan. Jordan is the girl with autism. When she was 2 years old, she was diagnosed with autism. And every day of her life, me and her mama have allowed God to fight the giant of autism in her life. And He has directed us to people. Jordan graduated. Don't cry on me. Jordan graduated high school. They said she would never graduate high school. She's graduated high school. She has, God has used her. She went to Honduras on a missions trip, which the doctor said that she would not be able to do. She has been a testimony and used her testimony to reach so many people for Jesus, all because we allowed God to fight the giant for us. Okay? And this is what I want to get across to you today, is the fact that God is in the business of defeating giants.
Amen.
Every giant that we have in our lives, that you may think because you're so young, you can't defeat those giants. But there's a weapon that you can be given that is in this verse that says, David said, I come in the name of the Lord God of Israel. And when we pray in Jesus' name, we have the ability to defeat the giant because we let God fight the giants for us.
Hey everybody, so church just got done. It was absolutely amazing. Dad did an amazing job on a message. I really didn't think I was going to start crying, but I think just when he preaches about God and just shares the word about God and shares his story, it just makes me get emotional. And even sharing a part of my story that he preached about was just amazing. And I started crying. I didn't think I was going to start crying, but it was just amazing just being a testimony of facing the giants and just how God is truly the one that does defeat the giants. It's not just us, it's mostly God that defeats the giants. And I would say overall church was amazing. So right now we're about to leave to head to lunch, but while we're heading up there, here's a little recap from his birthday last year.
Airfield right there? Yeah, I want you to lift your left hand all the way up for me, left hand all the way up, and then pull the right one all the way down. Woo! Compared to a roller coaster. Holy cow. Right on. Yeah, man. Well, we had too much fun with practice. Man, go ahead and get those feet up for me. Out in front of your toes, pointed up, please. Just like that. Great job. Gary, real quick, what was your favorite part? Free fall or parachute ride? Free fall and the parachute ride, man. Both combined. That's where it's at. Oh, man, that flipping was awesome. You gonna do this again? Oh, yeah, man. See you right back here, Scott. Thanks, Tom. All right.
Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you. All right.
And we Dr. Pepper, Coke.
Yes, ma'am.
You my Uber?
So we got the fam here for her birthday. So we got the fam here celebrating Dad's birthday, and the bloomin' onions just arrived. It looks pretty stinking delicious.
Who else was signed up for something? I keep getting notifications about job sites.
It's gonna be good. I'm ready.
Hi, Red.
I'm starving and I'm
So,
ready to.
what's the best thing about the bloomin' onions that just...
That we get to share it with Daddy.
That we get to eat it and it gets to go in my stomach.
Oh man.
Thank you. Oh, you see that? Oh my gosh, bro. Rock on.
Now all you need to do is take
We did.
Jordan, you'll just tell him to go easy on the seasoning.
Oh, we should have told him it was his birthday.
Alright, so we just got done eating lunch, which was fantastic. We ate at Outback Steakhouse, which was a great choice.
Thank you, Miss Angie, for Outback Steakhouse.
How was your lunch?
My lunch was delicious.
That chicken tasted so good.
It was tasty.
But dessert, I would have to say, was my favorite part because they had this s'mores cookie in a skillet pan, which was phenomenal. The way the ice cream kind of soaks into the cookie was amazing. Can you say happy birthday, Mr. Gary? Can you speak? Can you speak? Can you say happy birthday?
Go. Speak. Speak.
Speak. Hey everybody, I know it's kind of late right now. I didn't film quite as much after lunch because we were all kind of tired from lunch and wanted to come home and just take a little nap and just chill out. But overall, my dad's birthday went really great. I think my dad did one heck of an awesome and phenomenal job preaching in Children's Church, just talking about how giants come in different forms in our life, but that we're not the only ones that defeat the giants in our life. It's mostly God that defeats the giant in our life. And just hearing him telling the kids part of his testimony and a part of my testimony, and how the giants were kind of like in those forms, but that we defeated and overcame those giants in our life because of God. And I'm just insanely and truly proud of him for how far he's accomplished since his birthday last year, and all the hard work that's paid off. And I just can't wait to see what's gonna come up for him next. And so, but overall, I had a great time celebrating my dad's birthday, and I can't wait to see what we're going to do for his birthday next year. So, I'm going to end the vlog here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it so much, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Be sure to comment down below. And be sure to have the little bell turned on to get notified when new videos come up. And be sure to go check out my channel to go see all of my vlogs I've done so far, my cover videos, my Musical.lys, but now TikTok, now called TikTok, but still Musical.ly, and so much more to come. So before I go, I would just like to say a huge thank you to everybody, people from church, work, family, and friends. Just thank you guys so much for all the sweet birthday wishes that you guys gave my dad. And just thank you guys so much for just making my dad feel loved and special. I want to say a big thank you to the children's pastor at our church for surprising my dad with 2 birthday cakes and a box of Snickerdoodle cookies. The cakes tasted absolutely delicious, by the way. When we were in children's church today, we used one of the cakes to serve to like the children and to all the people that were working back there, and Howling had to cut a few slices of the yellow cake with chocolate frosting, which is my dad's favorite kind of cake. But it was really good, and he was completely surprised, and he absolutely loved it. But I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who is either friends with my dad or who works with my dad, and to all the family. Thank you guys so much for all the sweet birthday wishes. You guys just constantly make him feel so loved and special, and we probably don't know where he'd be at without him today. Especially for me as his daughter, because I honestly don't know where I'd be at without him in my life. He's just inspired me and has been one of my biggest role models, and of course one of my biggest cheerleaders. But I just love him so much, and I couldn't imagine my life without him. But overall, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you so much to everybody for just showing my dad so much love, and just making him feel special on his birthday. And I can't wait to celebrate his birthday next year and see what we're going to get to do. So until then, I will see you all next time. I love you all. Bye.